Let's just give us our original Montford Point standing ovation. Get a shot. Thank you all. I think we're very blessed to have 5 Montford Point Marines in our presence. You know, as we came into this convention on Monday, original Montford Point Marine, Captain Eddie Q. Hicks, passed away. And it seems like that's been the trend over the years. So we're truly blessed. And what I want to do to take this opportunity, 81 years, approximately 81 years to the date of the first, say a few words to give your association a word or two of encouragement. It's on you. I'm gonna start up here with the ambassador.
Morning.
Good morning.
I want you to know I'm one of the lucky guys. I still seem to be in fairly good shape and I can still talk. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about, but I still talk. But again, I can never give enough thoughts to thanking you folks for what you've done to make us look good. And when I talk about looking good, it talks about sometimes embellishing our facts and all that business to make ourselves look even better. I'll mention something a little bit later on when we get into another subject, but I just want to say how much I admire you guys and thank you guys for all that you've done, because Montford Point would have been forgotten, but you've kept us alive. Thank you.
Yeah, I echo what he is saying, and I appreciate you guys having on the legacy, and I'm encouraged to go out there and get those young men to bring them in, because they'll be where we are right now one day. And I really appreciate for being here. You know, I didn't think I'd make it this far, but by the grace of God, you know, who is my keeper.
Amen.
You know, I'm still here. I've been to dialysis 3 times a week, and I was fortunate enough to get my schedule down here during this period and be able to make out and you know, attend some of the functions that's going on. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the association. Keep it up, simplify.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I thank God for giving me this opportunity to be here at the beginning of the Montford Point Marines and to see that we have come this far. But we still have a lot of ground to cover. But in the meantime, I thank God for the opportunity that I can let the young fellas know how we got over. And it's through the grace of God and through preservation that we have come this far. I thank you for this opportunity, and may God bless you in each and every one.
Yes, sir.
This is Mr. Claude Davis, first time attending a national convention.
Good morning. Good morning. I just want to tell you a little story that happened to me in boot camp. At boot camp, had 1 week to go, and I was on a rifle range. And we came into the shacks, and I was unbuckling my cartridge belt. In some way, I found one cartridge belt. One cartridge, I'm wrong. And being a good old recruit, I got that and said, well, rather than throwing it over in the woods, I'm gonna give it to my platoon sergeant. And you know, I guess that was a pretty good mistake. My platoon sergeant, he went up one side of me and down the other. Because they called me that name and everything. So he said, I'm gonna take you up to the colonel. So, which he did. So he and I went up to the colonel. And the colonel said, boy, don't you know what that is? I said, sir, yeah, that's a round. He said, well, I'm gonna tell you something, give you 2 chances. He says, I'm gonna let you go back to boot camp or take a court martial. I said, sir, I'll take the court martial. No way in the world. I had that 1 week to go. So he said, all right, I'm gonna take you to the supply sergeant. So the supply sergeant said, well, I got something for you to do. He said, I got a shovel. He says, I want you to dig a hole 6 feet deep. And he gave me that shovel. After I got off the rifle range, each evening after eating, I went out there in that ditch, started digging that hole. Me and the mosquitoes. And all those mosquitoes had a good time with me until bedtime. And I finished that hole the night before rapid. Thank God. Boy, my hand was sore and my back was sore. But you know, I shot sharpshooter with that rifle. And boy, he was satisfied. He didn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. With nothing but a shovel to dig that hole and have it 6 feet deep. So thank God now I'm looking at all of you and I'm 99 years old. And you know, I got up this morning and put my shoes on and tied my own shoes up.
Come on now. Preach that.
And hopefully I'll see you all next year.
You will.
You will.
Yeah.
Praise God. Have a good day, and I'm enjoying the convention.
All right.
Good morning. My name is Ivor Griffin, and I'm grateful to be here. When I came in the Marine Corps, I was trained by a private, and I haven't seen him since I've been trained, but I'll tell you a little story. He told me, son, I want you to go out there and chew that tree down. I knew how he was. I said, chew the tree down. So I said, yes, sir. I went over to that pine tree, bit of bark off, came back, said, yes, sir. He said, now that's what I want you Marines to know. Don't say you can't do something. Try it. Another reason I tried it, I didn't want my butt to get kicked. And I paid for the price because I got a critter on my lip. And my lips swelled up. And the guys were laughing at me. But I really love the Marine Corps, and I was able to see my granddaughter become a Marine first lieutenant.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
But sadly, to tell you this, she passed a couple months ago in Okinawa. Her mother and father lives here in Jacksonville. So, but anyhow, I can say that, hurrah.
Hurrah. Hurrah, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're also blessed to have Montford Point Marine James Willis, who came to us last year, and he found fit to come be amongst his brothers and sisters, more so his Montford Point brothers, to today. Ms. Willis, do you have anything to say that you would like to say to us?
I can always say something. I regard the time that I spent in the Marine Corps as perhaps the pivotal points of my life. I came in March of 1944 and ended up in Sasebo, Japan, and returned to the United States from there in 1946. I've always regarded the times I spent in the Marine Corps as being critical to my maturity. I've had tremendous success, I think, in the practice of law in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. But I always my thoughts returned to Montford Point. I was a youngster when I entered into the Marine Corps. They made me into a man. I will always respect the drill instructors that I had. They impressed upon me the necessity of being amongst the best because they regarded us as second-class Marines, and they said we have to be better than the rest of them. And I always tried to do that. That was always my goal, to do the very, very best I could as a Marine. And I thought I lived up to the traditions of the Marine Corps. I blame the Marine Corps for all of the successes that I've had in my life, along with my parents, of course. And I'm really grateful to the fact that we received that Congressional Gold Medal. That I regard that as being one of the highlights of my life.
Amen.
The fact that they recognized us and the sacrifices that we made in order to be Marines. I want to thank everybody, and I hope. I'm 97 years old, and when I entered the Marine Corps at 18, I was barely 18. I turned 18 on January 28, 1944. In March, I was in the Marine Corps. And there were a lot of people already here, so they got to do the math. I'm 97. Most of them, not all of them, I would say, except the 97-year-old, 98-year-olds that are here today, they're all gone. And I dare say there are not more than 15 or 20 of us still alive. I don't know how many original Montford Pointers are here who are alive, but I regard myself as being very, very lucky to be amongst that group. Thank you.
I'm very happy that Brother Braxton told his story because I thought it was special for you guys. I never told any stories about it because I was treated so nicely. Seriously, the guys never messed with me. And so whenever I hear the guys say, oh, he suffered, he turned tough, he was segregated. These are my brothers. Shoot, I wasn't segregated. The other folks are also segregated. But listen, the one thing that happened in boot camp that I still remember, is I was coming from the chow hall one day and I was running, and all of a sudden I saw one of my fellow schoolmates from this high school. I was so happy to see him. I yelled out, George, George, George. When he turned around, I spotted a black tag on his cap, DI. Lord, he came over, he looked me in the eye, he dressed me down from right to left, told me all about my family and everything. I swore I'd never speak to that SOB again in my life. About a month later, I'm out of boot camp. I'm walking down the street, needless to say, with my hands in my pocket. And suddenly I hear this guy calling me, Ted, Ted. And I looked around and there he was. I said, man, don't speak to me. He told me all about how things were and what have you, and he was really being nice about it. Would you believe that he became a ticket taker on this Triborough Bridge, and every morning I came through, The first one, all of the ticket takers all did, "Hey Ted, hey Ted." And when I come back in the afternoon, he'd still be there, "Hey Ted." So I never got over it, but that was the one thing that I keep remembering as I go through life, thinking about it. Now, as I think about the guys here, we are a minority in a minority. The only guys who knew anything about World War II, a career, the only guys who were in the group here in the 90s and so forth. And so we're special in that sense. When we think of being minorities, boy, we are the epitome of it. So there may be only a few of us now, but there are a lot of others out there. Some of them don't even know that they're out there and that they're even served. Even some of the guys don't remember their platoon numbers, but it happens, it happens. I was in 335, by the way. Anyway, I still try to pass for young. And I'm reminded as I end this thing by saying Red Fox was approached by one of his friends one day and he said, "Fred," he said, "Fox, my father passed." And Red said, "What?" He said, "I didn't know he was that light."
Hey, John, I just want to mention, this morning, I just met Mr. Willis this morning. He's from Louisville, Kentucky. We talked about some people we know in Louisville that we met, I know he knows. In the high school, the things he went to. So it was just been a pleasure to meet him this morning and to know he's from Louisville. I don't know where you're stationed right now. You're here in North Carolina? Are you living here in North Carolina now?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad to meet him. We just stand out talking, and he said he's from Louisville. And so I'm just glad to meet him and everything. And being the age that he is, I know he's been through some things. Because he's talking about a couple of guys I know that was in Montford Point like he was. This guy, this short, he thought he was a hell of a football player. Not Mr. Willis, this other guy, his name was Willis Evans. And he thought that so the first night there, the DI took him out behind the shack. Said he didn't know nothing but lights. Started beating the hell out of him. Then he made him a guard arm.
So, you guys have any closing words? Have anything else to say, gentlemen? That's good.